Representative Mayoral, thanks for meeting us again.
Great to be here.
Good to see you, sir. Look, we'll jump right into this. Recently, Randolph Air Base came back into the news. We had Brigadier General Robert LaBrute concerned that the mission of the base may be in jeopardy due to overdevelopment. They need sufficient crash zones, open areas, if a plane were to go down there. One idea that's being floated is for the city to help pony up some money, maybe tens of $millions, to buy up land around there to keep those zones undeveloped. If you were elected mayor, would you support using taxpayer funds to do that?
Protecting the mission of our military bases is a top priority. Our military bases represent the largest economic generator in our economy, employing hundreds of thousands of people. Right now, we measure their contribution to our economy somewhere around $29 billion. As mayor, I will do whatever is possible to make sure that our military bases are protected and that we position them to, in fact, expand their operations.
You know this very well, that we've had labor discord between the city and our police unit for over a year now. If you win this election and you become mayor, how would you begin to mend the bridge between City Hall and the rank and file that walk the streets and protect the city?
One of the first things I will do is reach out to the rank and file police officers, go to their roll calls every shift. They have 3 shifts every day. Go to every substation around the city. Try to have a conversation about the financial circumstances that we find ourselves in. The fact that the public safety budget is growing on average by 6% year to year, while revenue is growing closer to 4% year to year. We need to control the costs. Now, the public safety budget needs to grow because our city is growing, our population is growing, but it needs to be in line with our tax base. We can't afford a city that goes bankrupt. And so public safety is one of my top priorities, but so is financial sustainability.
There's talk now at City Council about annexing 66 more square miles, bringing in another 200,000 people into the city. And I know you and other candidates have said they're not in favor of raising property taxes, but an article in the Wall Street Journal didn't see how that could happen, not raising property taxes and still offer all the city services, police, fire, infrastructure, to those areas. Is it possible?
On the first matter, I want to be careful and thoughtful. I want to use my background in economics and finance to make sure that any annexation is done in a way that properly provides services to the people that we may be bringing in. But let me tell you this. One thing that I am absolutely against is a current recommendation that has come from staff to City Council for partial annexation. And that is annexing, requiring the new neighborhoods to pay the full freight of our taxes, but not providing all the services and not allowing them to vote for their elected officials. That's wrong. On the principle of fairness, I will not support that. On keeping a lid on property taxes, that is absolutely possible. The formula is strengthen our economy, grow jobs, increase the wage structure of San Antonio. And the way to do that is to increase the productivity of our workers, increase the quality of our workforce. That is going to be a top priority of mine. In my book, economic development is equal to workforce development. We need to improve the quality of our workforce if we expect to grow the kind of jobs that provide for our families.
This is going to be my first election in San Antonio. I'm a middle-income guy, middle-aged, lived in the middle of the city, engaged in what's going on here. Why should I vote for you?
You should vote for me because when elected, I'll be the first mayor with a background in economics and finance. I have the skills and experience to help us chart a time when we are growing in population and we need to control costs so we can make needed investments in our infrastructure. I'll be laser focused on strengthening our economy, diversifying it. Ultimately, the formula for our success is strengthening our economy, controlling costs, being a partner with our business leaders and other private actors outside of city government. If there's ever a time when government acting alone is not the answer, today is it.
I haven't lived here a long time, but it wasn't a few months that I quickly realized that transportation is one of the big issues that San Antonio faces. We know in May there's a charter amendment that would allow the citizens to vote whether or not to use taxpayer fund for light rail. A lot of people aren't behind rail. We see ride share isn't probably going to be in San Antonio. Fights over toll roads up on 281 North. What is a 5 or 10-year plan to fix our transportation problems here?
Here's my plan to improve transportation. Number one, we need to bring back Uber and Lyft. The city should not have regulated them out of San Antonio. As mayor, I will quickly make that happen. Number two, we need to add capacity to our highways that are choked with traffic. I want us to add lanes that allow and incentivize for carpooling, HOV lanes, to allow buses, bus rapid transit lines to run quickly, swiftly from point A to point B. We also need to make San Antonio a place where people can safely get around on foot and on bicycle, making San Antonio a place that is safe to drive, to walk, and to cycle is an important priority of giving more San Antonians more options of getting around town.
And you know that word gentrification has kind of become a dirty word in certain areas. We're seeing neighborhoods change, but that's part of progress, I guess.
Right.
But a lot of people who are lower income in old established neighborhoods are being priced out. Is there a balance to be made with the development and the change in the city as far as gentrification goes?
Our city government needs to be sensitive and listening. It also needs to be smart about how we grow. I want to see the continued growth in the core of San Antonio. This is related to traffic. If we can be more balanced in how we grow, not just concentrated in one part of town, but have the core grow, in the end, it's where infrastructure already exists. It'll allow for a higher quality bus service, more frequent buses along major corridors. But all of this needs to happen in a way that includes longtime residents.
Mike, I'm sure you haven't faced this question during your campaign, but I'm going to throw it at you. Best NBA coach of all time, Red Auerbach, Phil Jackson, or Popovich?
Popovich. And the evidence is looking at all the other coaches in the NBA he has trained.
Mike, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yep.
Thank you.